Got Johnny Powell right here. She's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you actually haven't voted before. How are you?
Hello, hi. My question is, if you believe it's the president's responsibility to protect America, why would you downplay a pandemic that is known to disproportionately harm low-income families and minority communities?
Yeah. Well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. My action was very strong. Yeah, because what I did was with China, I put a ban on. With Europe, I put a ban on. And we would have lost thousands of more people had I not put the ban on. So that was called action, not with the mouth, but in actual fact. We did a very, very good job when we put that ban on. Whether you call it talent or luck, it was very important. So we saved a lot of lives when we did that.
There were holes in the ban, and the European ban didn't come for another month.
Well, they were Americans. I mean, the holes in were if you have somebody in China that's an American citizen, we had to let them in. I mean, there were actually some people that said, well, once it got going, they said, wait a minute, that is really a heavily infected place. And we had a case where we had a lot of Americans. They probably had COVID. And we're saying, do we let them into our country? We let them in very carefully. We quarantined them, but we let them in. But yeah, they say that we allowed certain people in. It's true, but they were American citizens.
I want to move on to some other subjects, but you know, we still are dealing with 195,000 deaths in the United States right now. When you see that, when you think about that, does that give you any pause? Does it make you think, is there anything I could have done differently? Anything?
I think we could have had 2 million deaths if we didn't close out the country.
So you regret nothing?
No, I think we did a great job. If we didn't close the country, look, I created, we all created together. You helped everybody. The fact is, we created the greatest economy in the history of the world. Best employment numbers for African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, women, everything. The best employment, high school, no high school, college. We had the best economy we've ever had. 160 million people, almost, just short of 160 million people. We were never close. And then somebody comes in, and then somebody else, doctors, and they start talking about the pandemic and about closing. They want to close up our country. I said, wait a minute. We have the greatest country, the greatest economy, and it was coming together even in terms of unity because it was so successful that people that weren't getting along were starting to get along, George. That's the way we solved that problem. But we had the greatest economy ever, and we have to close it. If I didn't close it, I think you'd have 2 million deaths instead of having the 185, 190. It's a terrible number.
Many experts say if we would have had more mitigation earlier on, there would have been fewer deaths.
George, I was so far ahead of my closing, and I'll give you an example. When I closed at the end of January, Joe Biden was talking about, in March, about it's totally over-exaggerated. Nancy Pelosi was standing in the streets of Chinatown in San Francisco late, a month, more than a month after that, saying this thing's totally exaggerated, come, you know, to try and build up tourism. And all of these people,
you were saying it was going to disappear.
What?
You were saying it was going to disappear.
It is going to disappear. It's going to disappear.
But not if we don't take action, correct?
No, I still say it. It's going to disappear, George. We're going to get back. We're not going to have studios like this. We have all of this empty space in between. I want to see people, and you want to see people. I want to see football games. I'm pushing very hard for Big Ten. I want to see Big Ten open, let the football games, let them play sports. But no, it's going to disappear, George.
But Dr. Fauci and I say we have to be prepared we have to hunker down. We have to be prepared for a possible second wave. I understand that you don't want to panic people. You said you want people to be calm. You've often talked about Winston Churchill and FDR, and they did reassure people. They were strong. They did keep people calm, but they also were straight. They said this war is going to be tough. It's going to be a real fight. We have to persevere.
So when Churchill was on the top of a building and he said, everything's going to be good, everything's going to be calm, and you have the Nazis dropping bombs all over London, he was very brave because he was at the top of a building. It was very well known that he was standing on buildings and they were bombing. And he says everyone's going to be safe. I don't think that's being necessarily honest, and yet I think it's being a great leader. But he said, you're going to be safe, be calm, don't panic. And you had bombers dropping bombs all over London. So I guess you could say that's not so honest. but it's still great
So
leadership.
do you think it's okay to be dishonest?
I'm not looking to be dishonest. I don't want people to panic, and we are going to be okay. We're going to be okay, and it is going away, and it's probably going to go away now a lot faster because of the vaccine. It would go away without the vaccine, George, but it's going to go away a lot faster with it.
Would go away without the vaccine?
Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes
And many
away.
deaths.
And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will all happen. But with the vaccine, I think it will go away very quickly.
Got to take a quick
But I
break.
really believe we're rounding the corner, and I believe that's strong.
As you know, Dr. Fauci disagrees with that.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people do agree with me. You look at Scott Atlas, you look at some of the other doctors that are highly from Stanford, look at some of the other doctors, they think maybe we could have done that from the beginning. I think we did it exactly right. We closed it up, now we're opening, and we're opening up to a super V because the numbers are fantastic. The employment numbers, you look at, we hired 10.4 million jobs in 4 months. That's a record by far. We have every record. Retail sales are through the roof. We have every record. We did the right thing. If we didn't close it up, I believe we'd have 2 million, 2.5, maybe 3 million deaths.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.